Hello tất cả các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh của mình. Và video ngày hôm nay mình sẽ đi làm quest ma thần mới Phong Khởi Hạc Quy. Đến Ngọc Kinh Đài nghe Niên Quân phát.
I am, in fact, planning to rebuild the Jade Chamber.
Jade Chamber là quân Ngọc Cát.
Rebuild the Jade Chamber? That's a huge project!
The building site has been chosen, and most of the materials have been assembled. 3 key items are, however, still outstanding.
Có thật là cái gì cũng có thể hỏi không?
Yes, providing the question pertains to something I am knowledgeable about.
Ooh, then Paimon will ask you about how to run a business.
Mất dạy.
Then we'll never be short of Mora ever again.
Of course. But how much information I share with you will depend on your performance.
Shenhe.
Information's just what we need right now. Let's follow them and see what we can find out.
Ok, chạy theo liền. Này.
Oh, you again. Millilith? What are the Millilith doing here? Did you do this? You ought to mind your own business, I swear!
Silence! How dare you threaten innocent civilians? You're coming with us.
Cô không sao chứ?
Shenhe,
Shenhe?
thank you for helping to defuse the situation. I could have dealt with it myself, though. I suspect smashing his head against the ground a handful of times is all it would have taken to get him to surrender.
Nắm lấy đầu đập xuống 3 lần.
You can't do that. That's way too violent. Wait, that's right. They said you went around all the restaurants ordering this and that and the other, but only took a small bite of each dish. Then of course you're still hungry. So, anything in particular you're hungry for?
Chingson, glaze lily, violet grass.
Trời ơi,
These are my usuals.
ăn mấy cái cây cỏ hái trên núi hả?
Medicinal herbs?
Kinda hard to explain. Anyway, Boo Boo Pharmacy's not far away. Let's take Shenhe there for a big medicinal meal.
Trời ơi.
After all, you can't work on an empty stomach.
Bà
Do you think Shenhe might be an adeptus?
có thể.
Seems like it's her first time in Liyue Harbor, and she doesn't seem to get how things work here. If she is an adeptus, that would explain everything. Where does she fit in with the other adepti, though? Paimon's super curious.
Ăn gì như là ăn chay
Are you here to
trường,
buy some herbs?
ăn cỏ
I
cây.
do hope you brought your prescription.
Chingson, glaze lily, and violet grass, please. Half a pound of each.
Mỗi loại nửa cân.
What kind of prescription is this? Sounds more like a lunch order. Oh, here you go. That's everything we have in stock.
Thank you.
She's really eating them.
Oh my god.
My hunger has now abated. Thank you.
Mùi vị thế nào?
Rather awful.
Tất nhiên là không ngon. Trời
Though
ơi.
they were not completely devoid of sweet fragrance. After consuming a large quantity of them, bitterness is all that remains.
So, how come you chow down on these and barely touch the restaurant food? If Paimon had enough Mora, Paimon would go to the fanciest restaurant in town and order a whole table of food and eat it all in one go.
Because I'm not sure whether I will remain here in the future.
Rồi.
The food of the mortal realm is most delicious, but should I return to the mountains, yearning for the food here shall only pose an obstacle to my continued spiritual development. Sampling each dish in order to appreciate its taste is enough. I came for the rebuilding of the Jade Chamber, but until this point I had no intention of joining a contest.
Shenhe cũng
However, you have shown me your kindness, and I would now like to lend you my assistance. Oh, don't worry. I ask for nothing in return.
ok.
Wow, you really don't have to.
I was wondering who I could hear arguing over there.
Ồ, bài xương.
So, it's you. Lady Ningguang wishes to purchase a large batch of wound dressing. We're running low at the store, so I came out to fetch the ingredients personally. Oh, and she also borrowed Chi-Chi. Meaning Boo Boo Pharmacy is very short-handed right now. I don't suppose any of you are looking for part-time
Mình đã có 1
work
tỷ
by
thứ
any
thuốc trong
chance?
túi. Feiyun Commerce Skill có phải là gặp Xin Cho không? Có gì để
Why
nói?
does Lady Ningguang need so much wound dressing? Is it really such risky business rebuilding the Jade Chamber? This is all most peculiar.
Thương hội Phi Quân Thiềm Xin Cho rồi, đúng rồi. Feiyun Commerce Skill là Xin Cho ở trọng.
I wasn't counting on finding you here today. What's going on? And how, pray tell, may I be of service?
Minh Hà Phù Sinh Thạch.
Have you ever heard of sunset vermilionite?
Oh, I see. So you've entered Lady Ningguang's contest as well. Feiyun Commerce Guild is in possession of some sunset vermilionite, but only one piece. We are holding it on behalf of someone who has asked us to put it up for auction, and a lot of interested parties have already come to us inquiring about the price. At the end of the day, it all comes down to supply and demand. In this case, I'm guessing the final transaction price may be in excess of 500 million mora.
Bỏ qua. Đúng rồi, không có nhiều
Honestly,
tiền như vậy.
I would recommend that you don't bother bidding on this one. The price is greatly inflated, and it's just not worth it. According to records of drifting clouds, Seagazer once built an abode to store his rarest and most exquisite treasures, among which was some sunset vermilionite. After Seagazer passed, the abode was abandoned, and its location was lost to time. Luckily, I came into possession of a stack of folk history books just recently. They make some oblique references to this lost abode, and after cross-referencing them against each other, I'm now fairly certain that it is situated in the Lisha area.
You needn't worry. As far as I understand, Seagazer was very open-minded. Even while he was alive, he wouldn't have let something like this bother him.
Open-minded? I have not heard of Seagazer being described in this way before. May I ask where you read that?
Just a rumor I heard out in the mountains. All right then, let's go.
Rồi. Lướt đi tựa gió bay.
There's something about this young lady that reminds me of a good friend of mine.
Yeah, trong Yun.
I almost forgot. Adepti abodes tend to have very ingenious designs, especially when it comes to their defense mechanisms. Plus, it's likely to be crawling with monsters after being abandoned for so long. So please, be very careful.
Sea gazer tức là seas là biển, gaze là nhìn á, gaze là phóng tầm mắt ra, thì cái người mà đứng để nhìn biển, kiểu như là người cai quản của biển á, thì gọi là sea gazer thôi. Mà trong đây nó dịch ra cái gì ghê quá, Minh Hà chân quân gì đó.
Let's see. Shincho said it should be around here, but Paimon doesn't see anything.
Rồi để chị làm cho. Ôi trời ơi. Gì hay vậy? Phép hay vậy?
This place was hidden using a special Adepti art. But now that I have removed it, we can inspect the area more closely.
The Sealy got to here and then disappeared. Should we go over and take a look?
Minh Hải Thê Hà.
I believe this is the abode of that Adeptus. With any luck, the sunset vermilionite we're looking for should be in here.
Ô, sen hơ. Rồi sao? Ôi da. Này bay xuống được đúng không? Giống map của sao?
Transfiguration!
Giờ đi đập cái này đúng không? Nãy thấy nguyên
It
cây
appears
máu.
that we've been taken for intruders.
Rồi, cái gì vậy?
This time, why not allow me to take care of this?
Vô. Đập đầu 3 lần xong dặn cổ.
By ordinance divine!
Whoa! We're gonna fall!
By ordinance divine!
Ôi 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 ôi.
Gather! such a fraud.
We're gonna fall. This time, we're really gonna fall.
Ôi không có ấy được. Rồi thôi bay đi.
So high. Luckily, there was a pool of water at the bottom. Otherwise, that could have ended very differently.
Lại thêm một trận nữa phải.
Swift and merciful.
Transfiguration!
From whence you came.
Do your master's bidding!
Submit for judgment. Time for retribution.
Đó phải không Minh Hà? À cái cục bay bay mà cái con cò, cái nhà của con cò nó cũng xài cái cục này nè.
Is this the sunset vermilionite?
Trời ơi vậy.
So huge.
Không đi hỏi con cò đi. Vì quần ngọc cát cũng rất lớn.
That's
Rồi.
true. But then again, why isn't it floating? We activate it here. There's no way we'll be able to get it back to the site, right? Heck, we'll be dragged up into the sky too.
Vậy sao bác nó về
If we
được?
don't activate it, how else are we gonna lift it?
Đúng
Don't
rồi.
worry. I can handle the weight quite easily.
Ôi trời ạ.
How was Shenhe able to carry that huge rock all by herself? Adepti super strength much? We can't slow down yet. Let's go meet her at the building site.
Thật bất ngờ.
This is top tier in size and quality, and the condition it's in is quite simply immaculate.
I will head to my room for now. If you need anything, don't hesitate to disturb me. I'm a light sleeper. I will hear if you knock on the door.
Rồi thôi mai gặp.
See you tomorrow.
Ok.
Hey, isn't that Cloud Retainer? What's she
À
doing
con
here?
cò. Cloud
Let's go
Retainer.
and say hi.
One trusts you have met Shenhe. So, are you getting along quite well?
Có hợp ra không?
So far, so good. Yeah. So, you know Shenhe too, Cloud Retainer?
Bất ngờ.
Oh, right. Wait, what? What?
Thật bất
You knew
ngờ.
already? So is Paimon the only one who didn't know?
Đúng rồi.
One first found Shenhe by chance in a cave. One was passing by and sensed the presence of a god's remains. Being of an ever-vigilant disposition, one entered immediately to inspect the scene. She held a dagger with which she was confronting a monster that was the god's remains incarnate. Most mortal children are fragile, both physically and mentally, and are highly reliant on their parents for survival. But not so her. Even had the stalemate continued, one suspects that Shenhe may have still emerged the victor of the confrontation. Indeed, it is one to whom she refers.
Ok.
Shenhe has an extraordinary constitution, making her well adapted to practicing the Adepti arts. All the Adepti cherished her talents, and so we were willing to train her. Her homicidal urges did not subside with age. Mooncarver once performed a divination for her. He declared that her fate is to bear the curse of calamity. Consumed by malevolent energy, she is prone to bring harm to those around her. Such is the magnitude of the danger this poses, that her soul must be bound with red ropes to keep her homicidal instinct at bay.
À là cái
The red ropes have indeed served to
đúng
keep her calmer and more content. They also seem to have rendered her somewhat inexpressive. Perhaps the red ropes are so powerful that they have suppressed some of her other emotions as well.
Oh, now Paimon gets it. You came out here to check up on Shenhe because you were worried about her, didn't you?
Huh. You dare draw such a facile conclusion on the nature of
Rồi,
one's
bây giờ mỉa
present
con cò này
excursion.
nè.
Incorrect. The truth is that while Liyue Harbor may seem peaceful today, danger is always lurking in the shadows.
Okay.
Ningguang once made a bold assertion that this is to be the era of the contract between Liyue and the humans. Well, one is most curious to observe how she will respond to the coming storm. If she handles it admirably, one is willing to be a witness to her achievements. But if she does not, the Adepti shall not hesitate to seize control. Let us conclude our conversation here for today. One has occupied enough of your time, and night is approaching. Be sure to get ample rest.
Master has relayed my situation to you, I take it.
Oh, and another thing. We bought some grilled chicken drumsticks on the way back last night. There was a place just outside. Here's one for you, Shenhua. Try it. They're so good.
I concur. It has a rich flavor, far more agreeable than those I've cooked for myself in the wilderness in the past.
Ủa, vậy Sinh Hơ cũng ăn luôn hả? Tưởng mỗi món nếm miếng xong rồi ăn cây cỏ, thuốc men như vậy.
Hey, Bylin! And hey, Beto! And hey, person Paimon doesn't know?
Given the enormous scale of the Jade Chamber, we split the construction work into 2 phases to make sure the structure remains balanced.
Miss Yun is also here for the contest. Turns out she needed to borrow a boat, so...
Lady Ningguang said that the first 3 contestants to procure all 3 materials will be awarded the chance to ask a question.
Đúng rồi.
Well,
Hợp lực.
there are 3 teams here. We can split the prize between us.
Lão cha. Ôi Chi Chi. Ôi Chi Chi. Từ từ để nói chuyện với bạn này đã.
It's you.
Đúng rồi, tại sao lại ở đây?
Seaside. Dangerous. Chi-Chi is helping with the evacuation.
Nguy hiểm.
Yes. Ningguang said there's something bad in the sea. So, she sent Chi-Chi to evacuate everyone.
Oh my
But no one will listen to Chi-Chi. So instead, Chi-Chi is guarding this place. If danger comes, Chi-Chi will protect everyone. Don't go near the sea. It's too dangerous.
Sao Liên Quân biết được ta? Sao mình chưa biết mẹ gì hết vậy? Why? Tại sao? Chúng ta hãy hỏi lão Trang chứ là ông thợ rèn phải không vậy? Hay lão Trang? Lão Trương.
Ah, hello. Sure. Well, you'll need 2 kinds. Star Splinter Iron and Subrosium.
Mount Tianheng.
Interestingly enough, the story of the divine damsel of devastation also takes place on that mountain. I hear the view there is quite spectacular. A favorite destination of the Adepti, in fact. Perhaps it can give me some inspiration. Let's not delay. We should head straight there. No wonder the legend of the divine damsel of devastation is said to have taken place here. Adepti wander oft where mortals seldom stride. Indeed, this looks like a place that one might expect to be frequented by Adepti. The Divine Damsel of Devastation is your upcoming opera, right? What's the story about, though? It's the story of a girl becoming a hero. Cool! A hero story? They're Paimon's favorite! The legend first arose in this area. It is said that there used to be a prosperous village on the mountain. In that village, there was a loving couple who were completely devoted to one another. One day, a terrifying monster appeared. The wife was out collecting herbs and was captured by the monster. Her husband was so distraught at the news that it broke his spirit and drove him to madness. The vile and vicious monster told the villagers, "If you want to live, you must sacrifice a child to me." Just while they were discussing whose child would be given over to the monster, a little girl suddenly stood up and came forward. To anybody else, she was concealing an exorcist's blade. She approached the monster's lair, feigning fear and trepidation. When she finally arrived, she courageously drew her sword and entered into a fierce struggle with the monster, from which she eventually emerged as the victor.
Im lặng.
I really like this story.
Why? Sao không nói ra luôn?
But I personally think that perhaps the little girl was not as brave as the opera makes her out to be. I'm not sure she deserves all the praise she is given.
I've never considered that before. Opera is always an interpretation of the events it purports to portray. A certain degree of deviation from the truth is always inevitable.
Dùng vision để tìm quặng sắt sao vợ. Thấy quái gì đâu nhỉ? Rồi hiểu. Trời mưa. Đây.
I don't need an umbrella, but you can use one if you need.
There should be enough star splinter iron. Now we just need to find that Sabrosium. I think I saw a village on our way here. Master Zhang said we should ask the locals for help. Why don't we try there?
Trời ơi, đứng coi chừng bị sét đánh.
Yunjin, looks like you were right. He didn't seem to catch. Hello, sir. We were just passing by and wanted to ask if you happen to know anything about Sabrosium.
Trời, ông bị gì vậy? Gì ghê vậy?
Is he trying to tell us to look for clues in the village? Well, whatever. Guess we're on our own here.
Sorry, you can go ahead without me. I'd like to have a word with this gentleman. If that's okay with you, Uncle Mingjin.
Ôi, sao biết tên luôn?
It's...
Shenhe.
Shenhe. You're alive. The rumors were true. So, all these years? I'm sorry, I don't know how to find Sabrosium, but I think you can find some information in the village. This place is deserted now. No one ever comes here, so you can rummage around all you want.
Huh? You know this guy, Shenhua? Thank you, kind sir. We'll go and take a look around. Don't worry. Mingjin has no ill intention towards Miss Shenhe. She'll be quite safe. Okay, then let's see what we can find in this village.
Tò mò quá ha, không biết là chuyện gì xảy ra.
I came back here once before, a few years ago. Alone. I hid it from Master at the time. It was deserted then, too, except for a few low-life bandits. Everyone and everything I remembered was long gone. But as people were passing by, they stopped to admire me. They praised me, telling me I gave off the aura of an adeptus. I tried explaining to them that I wasn't an adeptus, just an ordinary person who came from this village. But no one believed me. When I saw how run down all these houses were, I felt at a loss. It was like I took a look at the world, and on the surface, it looked like a vast realm with so many places I could go. Then I looked a little closer, and there was nowhere for me to go at all.
Suddenly, so much time has gone by. Everything has changed.
Last time I visited, I felt so upset. But today, I don't know why, but it feels different.
It is easy for your mind to run wild when you are alone. But this time, you are with your friends, aren't you?
Yes, my friends.
Wow. Wow.
What's this?
Trời ơi. Thầy thuốc nói em đang bị bệnh rất nặng. Anh tìm ra rồi. Hóa ra Minjun để giấu cuốn sách có thể cứu em. Anh đã lấy lại được cuốn sách rồi. Anh đã triệu hồi thần linh về hiến tế như trong sách nói. Anh đồng ý dùng mạng sống của mình để đổi lấy em. Thần không nói gì, chỉ hướng tay về phía con gái chúng ta. Thần nói nó là cô thần kiếp sát. Dù có sống cũng chỉ làm tổn thương những người xung quanh. Anh đã đem nó vứt vào trong hang núi mà thần nói 3 ngày trôi qua vẫn không có tin tức gì. Vậy là hiểu rồi. Nó y chang như là cái Hiểu rồi.
Shenhe is the divine damsel? Now that I think about it, she does behave rather like an adeptus, and she is about the right age. She didn't volunteer. She was sacrificed to the monster by her own father. It looks like my father may need to make a few revisions to his beloved opera.
Ghi chép của thôn
So it
làng.
seems that Shenhe's father thought he was summoning a benevolent deity using a magic incantation. But in fact, he summoned an evil god's remains, which took the form of a monster.
Vốn là chi thứ của gia tộc Trường Ma, vậy mà chỉ trong vòng 10 ngày ngắn ngủi, người vợ qua đời vì bạo bệnh. Đứa con gái thì mất tích, không lâu sau người chồng cũng treo cổ tự tử. Sau khi điều tra, phát hiện có một luồng khí tàn dư của ma thần trong làng. Vì không biết tàn dư ma thần còn sót lại hay không, nên người dân trong làng rất hoang mang, bất đắc dĩ phải dọn đi. Những người đến đây xin hãy cẩn thận. Minh Dương là người đưa, không phải đưa, mà là ổng có cái cuốn sách gì mà triệu hồi ma thần đó. Đã cố giấu rồi nhưng mà ông cha của Shenhe vẫn còn ghi chép hả? Nhiều ghi chép quá ta. Pháp thuật được khắc trên bỉ hoa thạch, thường có thể tồn tại trong một thời gian dài. Nghe nói đứng ở giữa hồ phía nam Thiên Hoành Sơn, khi hoàng hôn buông xuống nhìn về hướng mặt trời lặn có thể tìm, có lẽ sẽ thấy được gì đó. Trời ơi.
So basically, we need to go to the middle of the lake south of Mount Tianheng at dusk, and we'll find us some symposium.
One year when I was back visiting, I heard a story about a white-haired adeptus from a merchant passing by. I never imagined it was you. I just let things happen, let it all escalate. Well, we all know how that story ended. And each time I wish I had a chance to apologize to you.
Ông này đâu có lỗi gì đâu.
Apologize for what? If you'd stopped him, he'd only have found another way.
I'll tell you more about the old times next time we meet.
Miss Shenhe, there's something I'd like to talk to you about. It turns out that many of the details in the Divine Damsel of Devastation are not true to the facts. So I'd like to change them.
It's okay. I like your version. My master once said that the day I learn how to use my strength for the good of others is the day that I can truly become part of human society. So, I hope that one day I might be brave enough to stand up and protect others, just like the girl in the opera.
I think maybe you've already started to become the person you aspire to be. You just haven't had the opportunity to see it for yourself yet.
Quên hoàng hôn mà cái này đêm khuya bà. Được không ta? Tầm 17:30 rồi, thôi ráng chịu. Đây.
Leave the wonder course to me. I'll work on them while you go about your business.
I'm very glad to have met you, and I'll take care of those Adepti sigils.
Ningguang's little secretary, we found all the materials!
Rồi, Liên Quân. Cái này là đang ở dưới đất hay là đang ở trên trời?
Combine the Adepti sigils with the Wonder Cores and insert them into the Jade Chamber's control compartment. The construction of the new Jade Chamber is now officially complete. Once the tethers are released, it will soar into the sky. Thank you all for your work. I do not know your sister's whereabouts. Please, don't waste your question on this matter.
Wow, you're a mind reader, Ningguang. Oh well, guess Paimon will ask a question then.
Cách kiếm tiền.
Managing a successful business is not as simple as you might think. Capital, connections, sensitivity to the trends, and instinct for what is a good opportunity. All of these traits are crucial. If you want to know how to make money, I will honor our agreement and give you an answer. But that is not to say that it will work for you.
Wow, Paimon hadn't even asked the question yet.
Rồi, trả lời được 2 câu hỏi rồi, lời
Your
cũng
question was written all over your face. Now look, you helped me rebuild the Jade Chamber, and I intend to repay you handsomely for it. So I promise you that should you one day require financial assistance, you may seek employment here. I will pay you at the highest rate of remuneration.
Great! So next time we we run out of Mora, we just need to come to Ningguang? No more questions from us. Shenhe, you got a question?
Lady Ningguang, do you think I can ever fit in Liyue Harbor?
Now that is an interesting question. Liyue Harbor is very inclusive. As long as you respect the rules here, you will not be turned away. So, the key is whether or not you yourself can develop a sense of belonging in Liyue Harbor.
Huh. A sense of belonging?
Yes. To become fond of a place, to feel part of it, it always requires a reason. Perhaps someone you've met, or something you've experienced here. Or perhaps you enjoy the atmosphere of Liyue, and you will become accustomed to it. In short, everyone needs a reason to stay. I hope you can find yours soon.
I see.
Let the Ascension ceremony commence!
Hay quá, hay quá. Style.
Right on cue. The Avenger of the Vortex, Beisht.
Who is that?
Osial's wife. Final follower of the Overlord of the Vortex.
Sounds like you knew this was coming.
Beidou sensed something was stirring in the deep. She warned me months ago. Knowing she harbors hatred toward the Jade Chamber, I chose to rebuild it now as a way of drawing her out.
Got it. Well, let's go fetch the Adepti.
No.
No.
In this human age, the people of Liyue must find a way to overcome this crisis on our strength alone.
Rồi nhìn giống fake đó các bạn. Ai ta quên rồi. Gigamesh trong fake.
All hands! Tsunami incoming!
Wow.
What's that? Wait! A giant wave!
Sao mà né được? Chạy đi đâu?
You are a cursed child. Your life brings nothing but disaster to us all. At least if you die, I can bring her back.
The day you learn how to use your strength for the good of others is the day that you can truly become part of human society.
sao nhảy vô chổng luôn rồi sao? Quá. No, no, no.
I hardly see this as a great risk. The people of Liyue Harbor are well prepared, and she is already badly injured. Only sheer willpower is keeping her alive. I may be nearing the end of my stamina, but in a fight to the death, I think I have the upper hand.
Trốn đi đâu rồi?
My will embodied.
Gì vậy?
My will embodied. Ha!
Gather.
Unleash. Transfiguration.
A touch of frost from whence you came.
She's getting away! Shouldn't we go after her?
Thôi.
This place is unstable. It is too risky to continue pursuing her. If the place collapsed, the consequences would be disastrous. Let's head back.
Không sao chứ.
I'm just a little exhausted. Otherwise, fine. It's been dealt with. She was injured before entering the water. It didn't take too much effort to finish the job.
When you visit the Jade Chamber in the future, you will be afforded generous treatment.
Công đầu là của Shenhe không mà.
Lady Ningguang, the fleet reports that the sea monster has left Guyan Stone Forest and the surrounding waters have returned to normal.
Nói sao đây ta, giống như
Great.
anh hùng trong vở kịch.
Then next time I watch Miss Yun's opera, I'll be able to take the compliments.
If she returns with a vengeance, we must be prepared.
Yes, ma'am.
You've been monitoring us for some time now. I trust you've reached a conclusion.
You wish to hear one's opinion. Well, things would have hardly gone so smoothly had it not been for Shenhe.
That I do not deny. However, final victory was always going to be ours, even had things been a little more arduous. If it came to it, I could always destroy another Jade Chamber.
One has observed your adaptation of the Guizhong Ballista, and find oneself compelled to admit that you have evidenced some degree of novel thinking. Traveler, please take good care of Shenhe. She is a dear child.
Shenhe ổn mà.
In
Sao
fact,
đâu.
one has many fond memories of Shenhe's childhood that she may be interested to hear about.
There'll be no need for that.
Oh. They are all like this. Fine. Since you care not to listen, one shan't be telling you.
Rồi, bye.
One shall be going homeward now.
Please, have a good rest. Come to the Jade Chamber when you have recovered your energy. We must celebrate both the completion of the Jade Chamber and the fact that Liyue has weathered another crisis. This banquet must be the most spectacular ever.
Good chinh.
The Millilith's casualties are within the range we expected, but in hindsight, there were still flaws with our plan. If we'd had more time, we could have built a barrier here to absorb the impact of the waves. We must learn from this experience and never repeat the same mistakes again. We were fortunate to have your assistance this time. Thank you.
Không có chồng Yun hả? Chán quá à.
Wow! Everyone's already seated!
All of you here are my distinguished guests. I am determined that each of you thoroughly enjoys yourself.
Hey! Look! Miss Yun is going on stage!
Cái khúc này tiếng Anh đó, đó là Two souls by death were spotted đó. Cái tiếng Việt nó dịch khó hiểu hơn. Si nhân si oán hận mê cùng. Cái này là ông cha summon triệu hồi ra linh hồn. Sên hờ đâm. Ba ngày ba đêm đánh với ma thần. Khúc này là trốn xuống núi để mà về nhà, nhưng mà nhà không có ai.
神女披冠到这里本该接近尾声，但今日我再添一笔，唱与诸位听。知道为民人不是，自有知音和情字，功名烈女见了情，只知不操心。
Trực chỉ độ triều tẩy hải thanh.
彼时鹤归，茫茫天地
Đúng
无
ra
依
là
靠，
ngày đó Hạ quay
孤
về.
身离去。
Nó đúng hơn.
今日再会
Hôm，nay quay
亲
về.
朋旧友
Đúng
坐
rồi.
满堂，共聚此时。
Cùng nhau hội tụ khoảnh khắc này.
Personally, I thought I sang rather well.
Quá hay
It
luôn.
was beautiful.
Quá hay luôn kìa. Wow, quá dữ.
It was wonderful. Also, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks to you, the divine damsel of devastation is a more nuanced tale than ever. The play has an ending, but life goes on. I believe you will find a way to fit in Liyue Harbor.
Thank you. I think I've found the opportunity I needed to change.
Rồi Yunjin có gì để nói không?
To act, one must first feel. After our trip to Mount Tianheng together, I felt much more in touch with the character today. I believe I was able to deliver a more profound performance because of it. Next time I have a new opera, may we study the character together again?
Tất nhiên là được. Sên hờ.
Now that I think about it, I'm glad Master sent me here to deliver the sigils. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had the chance to meet you. I'm sure I have much to learn from you in the future.
Liên quan thì sao? Cùng ngồi nói chuyện nè.
You've made an exceptional contribution toward the building of the new Jade Chamber. I will not forget this. I shall be sure to repay your kindness at an appropriate juncture.
Thôi chắc đó cũng chỉ là kết thúc của quest ma thần kỳ này các bạn. Phong Hạc Khởi Quy. Mất bao nhiêu công sức chuẩn bị Chăm Yun, nhưng mà cuối cùng Chăm Yun không hề có mặt trong câu chuyện này. Ok, mình cũng xin kết thúc video này tại đây và gặp lại các bạn trong những video kỳ sau. Tạm biệt các bạn. Bye.